I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, August 1st. Out running around the country, going to a lot of sales and talking to people, just trying to decide whether they think this market's good or if this market's bad. It depends on who you talk to. You talk to some of the buyers and the guys that are really active in the market, and they're just surprised at how resilient this market is. They've done just about everything they can to try to kill it, and it's still a decent market. But you talk to producers and all they want to do is complain about the market and talk about how depressed it is. But you look in the history, the whole scheme of things, this market is still pretty good. It's not as good as it was, the last 3 or 4 years maybe on the average. But guys can't forget that they got awful spoiled here, a few years ago, and just trying to dream of getting that market back where it's gone. But it's still a pretty stout market, and we're just wondering whether we can hold what we got together here. I still think that it'll be hard to get the cash fats under $1.10, even though they're working on getting a board under that now. But there's a lot of support there around $1.10 to keep these cash fats up there, and then hopefully we can do it until all these calves that are hitting the market this fall get fat next spring. And then if you look at the board, it looks like we're going to have a hard time keeping it back under that. Will this feeder market withstand the fall run? That's a big question there. We got the largest calf crop in 10 years coming this fall, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on this market. The beef demand's been good. We've been harvesting these cattle very aggressively, been marketing these cattle very aggressively, but we've got a lot of calves coming this fall, and it's going to press down hard on this market. And you might want to think about that if you got cattle to sell. You may want to get a contract written on them, get them sold on a video or a private treaty out front, because there's a lot of cattle to move, more cattle than I think we can really fathom that we've got to sell this fall. But look at the board here. So start the week out, live cattle futures, the October contract down 47 cents at 111.95. Your spot August was down 90 cents at $1.12 even, gives you about a $5 basis to what the fat cattle are bringing. Feeder cattle futures, the August contract actually up at 12 cents to end the day at 146.17. All the other traded months were down. So getting some pressure from the board this week. Your weighted average on last week's fat cattle sales on 99,700 head of sales in the 5-area feeding region, which we did get enough sold where we don't have to worry that we're not staying aggressive on the sales, but also enough sold where these packers are not really going to be short bought, but they're looking at really turning these change speeds up here in August, and we're expecting real heavy kills all the way through the month. But you look at the average, weighted average on live sales last week, 117.16, down 217 from the previous week. Dressed steer sales averaged 187.48, down 226. What's going to happen this week on the fats? It's going to be hard to hold the market on these fats. We've got that $5 basis in there, which is attractive to these guys that are hedged up to go ahead and sell those cattle. It has cooled off, so they're not as anxious to get rid of the cattle, the heavy cattle on the show list, because of the heat. But still, these packers, we've gotten into a new month now. These packers have contracts that they can start pulling, and they're wanting to take advantage to try to push down on this market. If the box beef cutout values can hold strong or maybe pick up a little bit, maybe we could hold this fat cattle market together. We found some solid footing last week on box beef, but it's just a little bit soft here, especially on the choice. Actually, the select is holding better than the choice, and we're getting where we have a real narrow spread right now. Look at your feeder cattle markets. The real-time index on Beef Market Central, 146.05, actually up 23 cents late Monday. Even though your big high volume sales were just about steady, which there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with steady. But You look at Oklahoma City, 2,800 head. I can't remember the last time that non-holiday week where the Oklahoma National Stockyards had only 2,800 head. You want to blame it on the heat, but it was not nearly as hot this week as it has been the last 2 or 3 weeks in Oklahoma City. And people just kind of scared of the market. Maybe we've sold all the cattle that everybody needs to sell right now. We're just in a lull right now until we start getting into the fall. But the market was just steady in Oklahoma City. Joplin Regional Stockyards, 3,500 head there in Joplin. Feeders steady there. Calves kind of uneven. But you look at an individual quote Monday up in the Northern Plains where the farmer feeders continue to push this market. They've actually held this market even in the Southern Plains and the Southeast and everywhere up because they're absorbing so many of these high cattle up in the Northern Plains. But the farmer feeders and the farmer feeders alone have been holding this feeder cattle market as high as it's been here for the last month or two. But you look at Tri-State Livestock in McCook, Nebraska, they actually had 2 loads of steers, all black, weighed around 870 pounds there, bring 152 1/4. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.